Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac. It is cardinal as far as its modality, it's a water sign as far as its element, and it's feminine as far as its gender. The first archetype I have for the Cancer zodiac sign is the witch. And the witch is psychic naturally. You can be psychic in a receptive way or in a projective way. And most cancers are kind of psychic in both ways, but especially the witch. And what I mean by that is, if you don't know what that means, so you can be receptive, like you can pick up on things, like where there's scents, sounds, feelings, especially feelings with cancers, feelings and emotions. They're usually empaths. But you can also send out psychic energy to do a lot of things. But with cancer, especially the witch type, when they get mad, they can send out this energy to hurt people. And a lot of times it's not purposely. And that's in a lot of cultures, that's basically what a witch is. A witch isn't someone who necessarily practices rituals and things of that nature. In a lot of cultures, that's more so a sorcerer or a priest. A witch is somebody with these natural sort of psychic gifts that can hurt people. But those natural gifts can do other things. And this archetype of Cancer really displays that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that they're really in tune with the rhythms of nature, especially the different phases of the moon, because the moon rules Cancer, of course. Usually hide their emotions, unlike the archetypical Cancer. They rather sulk in private if they're sad or depressed. Sometimes they can lash out violently, the witch type, if they're bothered, because they can be really irritable when they're sad or depressed. And they also don't like to let people in, because Cancer and a few other signs are like this. They know if you know what can hurt them, you can use it against them. It's a defense mechanism, essentially. Defensive when meeting new people. Cancer is a sign that deals with comfort, and it deals with family, it deals with your roots, it deals with the environment that you're used to. So when they're even though Cancer can't have a spontaneous side, it does have a spontaneous side. But when this type in particular meets new people, usually they kind of gotta fill you out before they let you in. If they don't practice witchcraft, which obviously this type is most likely gonna practice witchcraft. Even if they do it on a conscious level, they'll do it subconsciously. They'll be obsessed with the concept of the witch, especially in fiction. And Cancer does have a very broad and vast and vivid imagination. So the second archetype of Cancer is a misanthrope. So I mean, they're misanthropes, so they hate people off rip. They can't stand people. They can be covert about this hatred of people, and they can even pretend to be like the teddy bear type, which is a different archetype of Cancer. I'll cover it later. So they can kind of pretend to be the teddy bear type, especially if they're doing something that's predatory. So they pretend to be sweet and defenseless and even emotionally sensitive, but it's basically to lure you in a trap so they can do whatever they want to do with you. Cancer is a sign that can be evil, and evil in a way, evil for the sake of being evil. I guess that's what I want to say. Where they can kind of think manipulating people and abusing people is fun. It's just a hobby. This is when they're, of course, darker sided. And this is not our Cancers. Now, if they're overt with their hatred of humanity, they can kind of be like, on a lighter note, you have Wendy Williams, who's a Cancer, and she's just mean. She's nasty. She puts everyone's business out there. She's really judgmental. She can't take the same energy back, funny enough, and that's something that you'll notice about a lot of Cancers. Not all, but a lot of Cancers, they can't take what they dish out back. Or it can be on a more extreme note, like Carl Panzram. And if you don't know who Carl Panzram is, he was a serial killer and rapist. I think he only raped and killed boys and men. And even though I said cancer can be evil for the sake of being evil, with this particular person, there was a lot of darkness in the first half of his life. I think he started drinking at a really young age. He started smoking at a really young age. He was gang raped at one point. But the thing about Carl Panzram is that they don't know they don't know what was a lie and what was truth when it comes to his stories. And that brings me to another point with cancer, especially the misanthropic kind of cancer, is that they're habitual liars. Now, cancer can tell a good and convincing lie. However, a lot of times this type of cancer will just lie on an impulse. So the lie may not make sense. The lie may not be good. They're just lying because that's what they do. A lot of serial killers do have a lot of cancer energy in their natal charts. So cancer is a sign that is often connected to serial killers and people who just snap after a while. Cancer is a sign that can repress its emotions until they just can't take it anymore. Now, keep that in mind that this type of cancer and cancers in general can be quite sneaky. So these are just the cancer serial killers that we know about. I'm willing to bet that there are a lot more that we don't know about. The thing that's kind of a mindfuck about this type of cancer, I guess it's not a super mindfuck, is that as much as they hate humans, that energy is not transferred to animals. As a matter of fact, the serial killer I was just talking about, Carl Panzram, his only regret was hurting an animal. So even the most vile cancers can be pretty caring and sweet and loving when it comes to animals. They just hate humans. I notice is that they're pretty good at saving money and finding bargains. Now, this is extended to a lot of other cancers too, but really the misanthropic type knows how to save money, and they know how to find a good deal. Now, on a negative side to that, they can't just be all-out cheapskates and they can be miserly. Next archetype is the kitten. And the kitten wants to do what all kittens do. They want to fuck, they want to eat, they want to hunt, and they want to sleep. That's about it. When they're depressed, because cancer is a sign that can be depressed in general, but this type of cancer tends to lean on sleeping if they're feeling sad or depressed. They're sexually kinky, however, they can be shy in expressing this, so they kind of need a gentle touch at first. And a lot of times with this type of cancer, even if they're only physically attracted to men, they will go to a woman to sort of unlock this sort of kinky sexuality within them. Because cancer is a sign that typically trusts women far more than they trust men. And also, cancers in general, but this type of cancer is very protective, but really protective of women. And they kind of have a hierarchy when it comes to who they're willing to protect and who they value. And on the top of that hierarchy is their mother, unless they hate her, which 9 times out of 10, a cancer of all types will love their mother, even if she was like a piece of shit. Every now and then you can meet a cancer that hates their mother, and they hate their mother, they really hate her. So it's one extreme or the other. The cancer either loves and respects their mother and she's in this exalted place, or they hate that bitch. And if a cancer hates their mother, you might want to stay away from them because they hate everybody else as a result. So back to what I was saying. At the very top is the mother. If they have a wife, right under that would be the wife. If they have a daughter, right under that would be their daughter. If they don't, it'll be the women in their family, usually sisters first, and then they'll branch out like with nieces and like other more distant relatives. Now, under all of that is strangers, female strangers. Other than that, is the men in their family. So yes, a Cancer, especially a Cancer man, oh shit, even a Cancer woman, will defend a strange female over their brother, for example. I've seen it many, many times. There may be a few anomalies out there, but for the most part, they care more about women than they do men. And a lot of times you'll meet Cancers that aren't protective of men at all. So like I said, the men in their family after strange women and then strange men. And like I said, they might not be protective or care about men altogether. Cancer is a sign that sees women in an exalted state, and a lot of times they see men as scum. That's just the way cookie crumbles. So the final archetype is the teddy bear. So this is like the stereotypical lovey-dovey, mushy, emotional, protective, just like the kitty cat, type of Cancer, excuse me, that everyone is used to. And with this type of Cancer, if they are sad, if they are depressed, they'll eat their feelings. And a lot of times they'll eat like ice cream, they'll eat pudding, they'll eat things that require a spoon. Cancer is a sign that deals with like roundness and all things round. And I don't know why Cancers do that. I'm a Cancer South Node and Cancer descendant, so even I do this. Is I don't know why. It's just something comforting about eating foods that require a spoon. I can't explain, you guys. Now, oh, I know what to say. They have the same hierarchy of protectiveness and value as the kitten. But what I wanted to say is cooking. Cancer is a fantastic cook, and especially they're really good at baking. But the thing with Cancer is sometimes their food will be amazing and sometimes their food will be disgusting. I don't know why. It just happens like this. Like if I were to compare a different sign to Cancer when it comes to cuisine, Taurus. Taurus is an excellent cook, especially when it comes to the flavoring of their food. If a Taurus is making food for you, you can almost guarantee you that every time they make a dish for you, it's gonna be good. With Cancers, it's almost like two different people are making the food. Like their culinary skills just go through these extremes. And I don't know if it's based on the phase of the moon. I don't know if it's based on their feelings or their moodiness. It's just something I noticed that's pretty peculiar about the sign of Cancer. Now, the women are, for the most part, loyal in relationships, unless she feels unappreciated, and especially if her partner makes her feel unappreciated on a routine basis. Then she will step out, and she will feel like there's nothing wrong with her stepping out. And if you call her out, she'll say, well, you didn't make me feel loved. You didn't make me feel beautiful. You didn't make me feel valuable. So I found somebody that makes me feel valuable. And a lot of times she'll still want to be with that person because Cancer is a sign that a lot of times they're tenacious. They're the crab. Once the crab grabs something, they don't want to let it go. So they can still want to be with that person. And Cancer, honestly, water signs in general, they can stay in toxic relationships. They can even thrive in toxic relationships because water is all about feeling and depth. So there can be a lot of depth in abusive relationships. There can be a lot of depth in toxic relationships. And Cancer, of course, is ruled by the moon. And the lunar people need their emotions stimulated. Their emotions, the stimulation of their emotions doesn't necessarily have to be good emotions. It's just stimulations. Like a Cancer, of all types of Cancers, will rather be in an abusive, chaotic relationship than a healthy, boring relationship. That's just how they function. And I extend that to Pisces and Scorpio, and I'll talk about them later once I get to their signs. Now back to loyalty. So I explained the loyalty of a woman, Cancerian woman. With Cancer men, especially this type, some of them are loyal. You meet a Cancer man, and he is constantly talking about how much he loves women, and women are so soft, women are so beautiful. I love the way they smell. And they just feel like, and they always are around women, whereas their family members are not. He's not gonna be loyal to you. He loves women too much. Um, and that's not to say that cancer men can't be good partners. Like I said, a lot of them do like chaotic relationships and prefer chaotic relationships over healthy, boring relationships. But that plus a lot of times their inability to tell the truth, um, you may you may end up dating a cheater if he's a Cancer man. Yeah. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this Cancer video. Let me know in the cancer. Let me know in the Cancer. Let me know in the comments if you're a Cancer moon, if you're a Cancer sun, if you're a Cancer rising. Maybe you're dating a Cancer, and this rings true to that person. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.